Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
Up and fights AJ. I will be the first to hold my hands up and go fair play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative.
Paul going into a fight with Anthony Joshua, to me, is absurd. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a legitimate two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He may have got destroyed by Daniel Dubois, but notwithstanding, there's nothing physically wrong with Anthony Joshua that he can't execute. Mentally, he might be in a little bit of a difficult position after the loss to Daniel Dubois. Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated into a little dance around exhibition, could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt here, like Francis Ngannou.
The highly awaited fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul has been harshly criticized by UFC President Dana White. White says the fight is an injustice that hurts the credibility of professional boxing. White, who doesn't shy away from debate, said that he didn't think it was legal for a former world heavyweight champion to fight a YouTube star who had become a boxer. His comments have caused heated arguments on social media, with fans arguing about whether the game is a smart way to market the sport or a pointless show that makes the sport look bad.
Is the burnt bridge with my brother unfixable?
I don't hate your brother. You guys need to fight guys your same size.
White didn't hold back when he said that Joshua beating Paul in the ring doesn't make sense in boxing and could set a bad example where fame and clicks are more important than skill and experience. He said that famous fights might bring in a lot of pay-per-view viewers, but they could turn boxing into a show instead of a real test of athletic skill. Eddie Hearn has now stated that the fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul will not be a practice match, but a real professional fight. This makes the stakes much higher than many people thought they would be. What began as a thrilling matchup has quickly turned into a real fight that will have real effects on both men's lives. Hearn said that Joshua is training as if he were going up against a top rival, not a crossover star. He also said that Paul might not realize how dangerous he's getting himself into. The fight has been moved up to December 19th because Tank Davis had to cancel. This has caused a huge stir in the boxing world.
He has people around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight a heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out, would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikisa, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no? How can you say no? What am I missing?
After his easy win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Jake Paul revealed that his long-awaited fight with Anthony Joshua is likely to happen next year. But since his fight against Tank Davis had to be cancelled at the last minute, the fight has been moved up and will now happen next month on December 19th. The quick change has made people even more excited about the fight. Both fans and critics are wondering if Paul is really ready to fight a former world heavyweight champion, or if the rush schedule is more for show than for real sportsmanship.
And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
The highly anticipated exhibition fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul, which was supposed to happen on the 14th of November 2025 in Miami, has been officially cancelled because of the ongoing lawsuit and probe. Based on the gravity of the situation, most valuable promotions confirmed in a statement that they will not go ahead with the event at this time.
Situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring Magazine that December 12th and the 19th of
Courtney Rosal, Davis's ex-girlfriend, has filed a civil claim against him for something that she says happened on October 27 at a Miami nightclub where she works. In her filing, Roselle says Davis is guilty of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and causing mental distress on purpose. According to the complaint, Davis dragged and beat her in several parts of the club, such as the kitchen, the parking garage, and the stairs. In Miami Gardens, police say that an investigation is still going on at the same time as the legal case.
Former boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami on November.
People in the boxing world are shocked that Jake Paul called out Anthony Joshua, who is a two-time unified heavyweight winner. People are surprised that Paul, who doesn't have much fighting experience, would say such big things about Joshua.
Has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight it. AJ is too classy for that. way too close. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest.
Anthony Smith, an MMA fighter, has said something about Jake Paul's attitude to boxing. He says that Paul goes after famous fighters to get big paydays. Smith suggests that Paul's plan is to use trash talk to motivate well-known people into fights that get a lot of attention and make a lot of money. Boxing fans have been upset about Paul's choices to match fighters who are often older or less active. This point of view fits with what people have said about his choices.
Jake Paul beats Anderson Silva. We should all fucking boycott the rest of his fights until he fucking fights someone that's on his level, or whatever level we deem him to be on. You talk all this shit about MMA fighters, you talk shit about the UFC, then you pretend that you want to bring fighters up and you want everyone to get paid better, but then you trash everyone every time they fight. Now we're putting food on your fucking table for you to drag our legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and then we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. And then this fuckhead just pulls them out of fucking semi-retirement and then just knocks them out in fucking pay-per-view, and then still shits on all of us. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, why are we still fucking...
Jake, in addition to wanting to fight boxers, Paul has also said he wants to fight MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul has said that his fighting skills are getting better, while McGregor's skills seem to be getting worse as he gets older. People are skeptical about this claim because of McGregor's history and achievements in fighting sports. Paul's comments show how confident he is and how he plans to use his strategy of challenging famous fighters to raise his image in the world of combat sports.
Done. I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older.
A lot of fans can't wait for Anthony Joshua to fight Jake Paul because they think Joshua will beat Paul up and make him look bad in the ring. Paul is one of the most controversial figures in combat sports because he often calls out other top boxers and says he is better. Many people think that his faith in being able to beat Joshua is crazy, given the huge difference in their experience, skill level, and size. Still, the idea of this fight happening has gotten a lot of attention.
I've got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. You know what? I want this to happen just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP in Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out?
Frank Warren has spoken out about the shocking news that Jake Paul will fight Anthony Joshua. He called the fight a circus dressed up as a boxing event. The experienced organizer didn't understand why a former unified heavyweight champion would even consider fighting a YouTuber who has turned pro. He said the fight is only about money and attention, not about sportsmanship. Warren said that Jake Paul has gotten better, but he is still not even close to being as good as a top heavyweight like Joshua. Still, he admitted that the fight would get a lot of attention around the world and sell a lot of pay-per-views. It's not the best fighting, but it's fun to watch. Warren ended by saying that if these kinds of matches keep happening, the sport could turn into a show.
Well, my thoughts on it is that Jake Paul's had a lot of accusations over the years for a guy who's had no amateur fights. What's he had, about 10 or 12 fights? I'm not sure what he's had. And, you look at the opposition he's had and people saying, when's he going to fight somebody? He stepped up. He's stepping up to a two-time world champion, a genuine heavyweight, a proper heavyweight champion, and an active fighter. And this is a big moment for him. And you got to take your hat off to him for that. As regarding AJ, I'm sure AJ's wants a fight back after that, that unbelievable loss he had against Daniel Dubois. That's it's quite an emphatic loss. He wants to come back, get himself, dip his toe in the water. He's going to get paid a lot of money for this. This fight's going to generate a lot of money because for me, it's a fighter. Jake Paul's going to be a massive underdog against a big favourite, a big odds-on favourite. Can he do it or not? This is a car crash. And people will watch it because that's what people do.
Eddie Hearn just recently said that Anthony Joshua was hurt and wouldn't be able to fight again until at least August. A statement that initially put off Joshua's fight with Daniel Dubois. But this new information has made me very suspicious about the newly planned fight on December 19th with Jake Paul. Fans are asking if the December date is really possible if Joshua is still getting better. Some people think Jake Paul called him out, even though he knew Joshua wouldn't be ready, using his name to get attention instead of for a real fight. Others think that Joshua might get better faster than expected because of how much money is at stake.
To return, but we've heard absolutely nothing about it. Now, the Daily Mail are saying that Anthony Joshua is actually injured. Return timeline, as Eddie Hearn reveals, the heavyweight is unable to enter even training camp due to an injury setback. Anthony Joshua's estimated return date has been detailed after Eddie Hearn reveals the heavyweight has suffered from a setback. The Brit has been out of action since he lost against Daniel Dubois in Wembley last September. With his future up in the air on the back of the devastating knockout defeat, fans have been curious to know as to what his next move is, with no announcements made despite reports he could face longtime rival Tyson Fury as soon as this year. Now, however, it's been revealed that Joshua is dealing with an injury, as revealed by Eddie Hearn when asked if Joshua could face Dubois in a rematch after the champion pulled out of his fight against Joseph Parker due to illness. Let's carry on. That's kind of a bit more of a miscellaneous stuff. No rematch with Dubois will be happening anytime soon, though, Eddie Hearn revealed, as he details when fans can expect Joshua's return to the ring. So we won't be seeing Anthony Joshua in the ring against Daniel Dubois for a rematch. That's not going to happen. I'm going to quote Eddie Hearn here directly. Now, it's interesting because Eddie Hearn hasn't really revealed much detail on it, but bear with me. It says, not a lot to report. Not a lot to report. Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn told IFL from Australia, look, he resumed training, and to cut a long story short, without going into too much detail about any injury, he's not really ready to start camp. He needs another 8 weeks or so.
Derek Chisora, a veteran heavyweight boxer, has said that Jake Paul getting a WBC ranking would be an insult to the sport. Chisora said that real fighters work hard for years to move up the rankings. But Paul has only fought unranked or past their prime opponents, so he would be promoted because of his fame, not because of what he has done. He said that WBC head Mauricio Soleone was betraying the organization's honor to make money, calling it a disgrace to boxing. That's not fair. Chisora warned that rankings should not be given out for free and should only be won through real competition. Finally, Anthony Joshua has said something about Jake Paul's growing power in boxing. Joshua agreed that Paul hasn't had enough adult experience as a boxer, but he also said that Paul has been good for the sport by bringing in big money and success. Paul's ability to get people interested in fights has brought new people to boxing, which Joshua knows that traditional boxing fans might not always like. Jake Paul, okay, good. Very good for fighting. Have fun with him, trying his best. He has never jumped into the deep end as a beginner. In all honesty, I think he'll learn a lot more than a lot of fighters who are only kind of into it. Man is putting himself through a lot of stress by throwing himself into the deep end. After being able to handle that much stress, you need to get better at it. Okay, good luck to him. Have fun with him. Jake Paul has long said that Anthony Joshua is one of his favorite boxers and that he admires him. Even though he recently called Joshua names, Paul has previously praised his work and fighting skills. His most recent comments, on the other hand, show that Paul is angry with the boxing business. He says that politics and money are taking over the best fights. Jacob Paul has proudly said that he is the only real fighter in boxing, and that he is the only one who makes the sport exciting and lively.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight. And what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money. Get in there. Make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight.
Is this a real boxing match, or just a show for money that doesn't value the sport? Leave your thoughts in the box below.